The family dinner was supposed to be a celebration. Walker Thompson, the golden son of the prestigious Thompson family in upscale Boston, had just landed a promotion at his father's law firm, the kind that screamed future partner. But as the clink of silverware echoed through the dining room, his sister Emily stood up abruptly, her face twisted in a mix of anger and triumph, and declared, "Walker is gay. He's been hiding a boyfriend for years." The room froze. Their father's fork clattered to the plate, and their mother gasped, clutching her pearls. What Emily didn't know then was that her revelation would unearth a darker family secret, one that would shatter their perfect facade forever. Walker felt the world tilt. His heart hammered against his ribs as he stared at Emily, betrayal burning in his chest. How had she found out? He'd been so careful, meeting Jordan in secret coffee shops on the outskirts of the city, stealing moments away from the prying eyes of his conservative family. The Thompsons were old money, pillars of Boston society. His father, Richard, a renowned attorney who donated to anti-LGBT causes under the guise of traditional values, and his mother, Margaret, who hosted galas for evangelical charities. Walker had always been their pride. Straight-A student, captain of the debate team at Harvard, now climbing the corporate ladder. Being gay wasn't part of the script. As the silence stretched, Richard's face reddened. "Is this true?" he demanded, his voice low and dangerous. Walker's mind raced. Deny it and preserve the lie, or own it and face the storm. But the photo Emily slammed on the table, a blurry shot of him and Jordan kissing in a park, sealed his fate. "Yes," Walker whispered, his voice cracking. "It's true." The admission hung in the air like a guillotine. Margaret burst into tears, excusing herself to the kitchen, while Emily crossed her arms, smug. "I found his phone unlocked. Thought you all should know the truth." The aftermath was immediate and brutal. Richard ordered Walker to his study, the door slamming shut behind them. "Do you have any idea what this means for us?" his father hissed. "The firm, our reputation, clients will bolt if word gets out. And the church? We're done." Walker tried to explain, words tumbling out about how he'd fought his feelings for years, how Jordan made him feel alive for the first time. But Richard cut him off. "This is a choice, Walker. A bad one. Fix it or you're out." The ultimatum hit like a punch. Disownment loomed, not just emotional but financial. The family trust, his inheritance, all tied to the image of the perfect son. That night, Walker paced his room, phone in hand, debating whether to call Jordan. They'd met 2 years ago at a charity event Walker's family hosted. Jordan was a volunteer, an artist from a working-class background in South Boston, worlds apart from Walker's polished life. Their connection was instant. A shared laugh over pretentious speeches turned into late-night talks, then stolen kisses. Jordan knew the risks, urged Walker to come out on his own terms, but Walker had always hesitated, fearing exactly this. Now, with Emily's betrayal fresh, doubt crept in. Why had she done it? Jealousy? She'd always been the overlooked sibling, the one who rebelled with tattoos and failed startups, while Walker soaked up the praise. The next morning, the tension escalated. At breakfast, Margaret wouldn't meet his eyes, serving coffee in silence. Emily, however, was unapologetic. "You can't live a lie forever, Walker. It's hypocritical." He confronted her in the hallway, voice low. "You had no right. This destroys everything." She shrugged. Maybe it's time for things to change. But as Walker stormed out to work, he overheard her on the phone, whispering about digging deeper. Unease settled in his gut. What else did she know? At the firm, whispers followed him. Had word leaked already? His colleague, Mark, pulled him aside. "Heard about the family blow-up. Tough break, man." Walker's stomach dropped. Emily must have texted friends. The day blurred into meetings where he fumbled presentations, his mind on Jordan's unanswered texts. "You okay? Call me." By evening, he drove to Jordan's tiny apartment, collapsing into his arms. "It's out," Walker said, tears flowing. Jordan held him, murmuring assurances, but Walker felt the weight of choices ahead. Stay hidden and lose himself, or fight and risk it all. As days passed, the family's fracture deepened. Richard scheduled a family meeting with their pastor, Reverend Hayes, a man who'd preached against the homosexual agenda from the pulpit. Walker sat rigidly as the Reverend quoted Bible verses, urging repentance. "This is a test, son. Turn away from sin." Margaret nodded tearfully, but Walker's resolve hardened. "This is who I am," he declared, standing. The room erupted. Richard shouted about disgrace. Emily watched with a strange satisfaction. Walking out, Walker realized this was just the beginning. The real storm was brewing. Pressure mounted from all sides. Society pages buzzed with rumors. Old friends distanced themselves. Walker's promotion stalled, his father citing personal issues. Internally, guilt gnawed at him. Had his secrecy hurt Jordan, forcing him into the shadows? And Emily's motives? Digging through her room later, he found notes on their father's old files, hinting at financial improprieties. Was her exposure a diversion? The thought chilled him. Decisions loomed. Confront Emily, protect Jordan, or salvage his family ties at any cost. Walker's mind replayed the dinner disaster as he navigated Boston's traffic, heading to Jordan's place for solace. The city lights blurred through his windshield, mirroring the chaos in his head. How had it come to this? Flashbacks pulled him back to the night they met, at the Thompson Foundation Gala, where Jordan was serving drinks, his easy smile cutting through the stuffy crowd. Walker had approached for a refill, but stayed for the conversation. Jordan's passion for street art, his stories of growing up in a single-parent home, contrasted Walker's silver spoon world. That spark ignited something Walker had long suppressed. Their first date was clandestine, a walk along the Charles River under the cover of dusk. Jordan confessed his own struggles, coming out in high school, facing bullies, but finding strength in authenticity. "You can't hide forever," he'd said then. Walker laughed it off, but inside, envy stirred. He wanted that freedom. Months turned into a hidden romance. Weekend getaways to Cape Cod, pretending to be friends. Late-night texts coded in work jargon. Jordan pushed gently for more, but Walker resisted. "My family, they'd never understand." Now that fear was reality. Arriving at Jordan's door, Walker knocked softly. Jordan pulled him inside, concern etching his face. "Tell me everything." Over cheap wine, Walker unloaded the exposure, the ultimatum, the pastor's intervention. Jordan listened, then cupped Walker's face. "I'm proud of you for admitting it. But what now?" Walker hesitated. Part of him wanted to run away with Jordan, start fresh. But the ties to his family ran deep. Disownment meant losing his home, his career ladder. "I don't know if I can lose them," he admitted. Jordan's eyes dimmed. "And me? Am I worth the fight?" The question haunted Walker through sleepless nights. Back home, the atmosphere was frigid. Margaret left pamphlets on conversion therapy on his bed, her silent plea. Richard buried himself in work, but not before revoking Walker's access to family accounts. "Until you sort this out," he said curtly. Emily, meanwhile, avoided him, but Walker caught her researching online. Tabs open on LGBT rights oddly mixed with financial scandals. Suspicion grew. What was her angle? A week later, confrontation boiled over. Walker cornered Emily in the kitchen. "Why expose me? What did I ever do to you?" She sighed, leaning against the counter. "You think you're the only one suffering? Dad's always favored you, the perfect son. I saw your secret as a way to level the playing field." Anger flared in Walker. "By ruining my life?" But Emily's eyes welled. "I didn't think it'd go this far. But while snooping, I found something else. Dad's been embezzling from the firm. Client funds to cover gambling debts." The revelation stunned Walker. Their father's traditional values hid hypocrisy? Doubt seeded, Walker delved deeper. Late at night, he hacked into Richard's old emails, risky but necessary. Evidence mounted, transfers to offshore accounts, forged documents. The dark secret Emily uncovered wasn't just his sexuality. It was their family's foundation built on lies. If exposed, the Thompsons would crumble. Lawsuits, jail time for Richard. Walker faced a moral quandary. Use this to blackmail his father into acceptance, or report it and destroy them all. Meanwhile, societal pressures amplified. At a firm event, clients whispered, one pulling a major account. We can't associate with controversy, they said. Walker's boss suggested a leave of absence. Hurt turned to rage. Why should his love cost his livelihood? Jordan offered support, but tensions rose. Fight for us, Jordan urged during a heated argument. Or are you ashamed? Walker snapped back. It's not that simple. The words hung, damaging their bond. Jordan stormed out, leaving Walker alone with his choices. As the web tightened, Walker sought advice from an old college friend, now an LGBT advocate. Coming out is personal, but hiding enables bigotry, she said. Inspired, Walker attended a support group, hearing stories of rejection and resilience. One man's tale of losing his family but gaining self-worth resonated. Yet, back home, Margaret confronted him tearfully. We love you, but it's against everything we believe. Her words pierced. Love conditional on conformity? Emily approached Walker privately. I regret outing you, but Dad's secret, we can't ignore it. Sibling alliance formed tentatively. What do we do? Walker asked. Emily's plan. Confront Richard together. But Walker wavered. Betray his father to save himself? The ethical dilemma weighed heavy. Decisions loomed, each with a price. Silence meant complicity, action meant destruction. High stakes pushed Walker toward action. He met Jordan in a park, apologizing. I'm ready to fight. They kissed openly for the first time, a small victory amid turmoil. But as they parted, Walker's phone buzzed. Richard demanding a meeting. The confrontation was coming, and with it, irreversible changes. The family meeting Richard called was in their opulent living room, the air thick with unspoken accusations. Walker arrived with Emily by his side, their uneasy truce forged in shared secrets. Richard sat rigidly, Margaret beside him, her hands clasped tightly. This ends now, Richard declared. Walker, you'll attend therapy sessions. End this phase. Walker's jaw clenched. It's not a phase, Dad. And I know about the embezzlement. The words dropped like a bomb. Richard's face paled, Margaret gasped. Emily nodded confirmation. The room exploded into chaos. Richard denied at first, blustering about misunderstandings. But Walker presented printouts, emails, bank statements. How could you? Margaret whispered, betrayal in her eyes. Richard slumped. It started small. Debts from bad investments. I meant to pay it back. The hypocrisy stung Walker. You lecture me on morals while stealing? The argument escalated, voices rising. Richard accused Emily of treachery, her of resenting his favoritism. You both want to tear this family apart, he roared. Margaret, torn, sided tentatively with Richard. We can fix this quietly. Walker, if you drop this gay nonsense. But Walker stood firm. No more lies. He stormed out, heart pounding. Outside he called Jordan, voice trembling. It's worse than I thought. Jordan met him at a diner, listening as Walker vented. Your family's toxic, Jordan said gently. You deserve better. But Walker felt the pull. Despite everything, they were blood. Societal backlash intensified. Word of the family rift spread through Boston's elite circles. Invites to events dried up. Old acquaintances crossed streets to avoid him. At work, his projects were reassigned. Image matters, his boss said vaguely. Walker's inner turmoil raged. Was outing himself worth this isolation? Nights brought doubt. Dreams of a normal life. Marrying a woman. Pleasing his parents. But waking to Jordan's texts reminded him of joy in authenticity. Emily, guilt-ridden, confided more. I outed you to force change, but it backfired. They plotted. Expose Richard anonymously? But ethics clashed. Ruin their father for personal gain? Walker grappled with Mouthwan Dowduk. Reporting could land Richard in prison, devastate Margaret. Silence made him complicit. What if we give him a chance to confess? Walker suggested. Emily agreed, but doubt lingered. A turning point came at a community event. Walker, invited by his advocate friend, spoke anonymously about family rejection. The crowd's empathy bolstered him. But spotting a familiar face, Reverend Hayes, he froze. The pastor approached post-event. Your father asked me to talk sense into you. Walker rebuffed him. Sense? Like ignoring hypocrisy. Walking away, empowerment surged. Home brought more conflict. Margaret pleaded. Think of the family name. Walker countered. What about my happiness? Tears flowed. She admitted fearing societal judgment. We're not ready for this. Her words highlighted generational divides. Love versus tradition. Jordan faced his own pressures. His friends warned about dating a closeted rich kid. He's dragging you down, one said. Jordan defended Walker, but seeds of doubt grew. During a date he pressed, choose me or them. Walker hesitated, hurting Jordan. I need time. Jordan left angry, the rift widening. As tensions peaked, Walker discovered Emily's ulterior motive. Rifling through her things, he found emails to a journalist about the embezzlement. You're planning to leak it? He confronted. Emily admitted, if Dad doesn't change, yes. For us. Betrayal stung anew. Was her alliance genuine? Moral crossroads loomed. Walker met Richard privately. Confess or I will. Richard begged for mercy. I'll lose everything. Walker empathized, the same fear he felt. But he pushed, accept me, and we'll handle this together. Richard refused. I can't condone your lifestyle. Deadlock. Damage accumulated. Jordan distanced himself. Work performance suffered. Walker hit rock bottom, contemplating leaving Boston. But a call from Margaret shifted things. I love you, no matter what. Tentative hope flickered. Yet the storm brewed. Emily, impatient, sent the anonymous tip. When Richard learned, fury erupted. You've destroyed us, he accused Walker. Family bonds frayed to breaking. The anonymous tip hit the news like wildfire. Prominent Boston attorney accused of embezzlement. The headlines screamed. Richard's firm scrambled. Clients fled. Investigators knocked. At home, pandemonium reigned. Richard confronted Emily and Walker in the study. Which of you did this? He bellowed. Emily confessed, chin high. You left us no choice. Richard's face contorted in rage. You're no daughter of mine. Margaret wept in the corner, the family's pillar crumbling. Walker felt a mix of guilt and relief. This isn't just about me, Dad. It's about accountability. But Richard turned on him. Your perversion started this chain. The slur cut deep, igniting Walker's fury. My love isn't perversion. Your crimes are. The argument devolved into shouts. Old grievances aired. Favoritism, neglect. Emily stormed out, Margaret followed. Alone with Richard, Walker saw vulnerability. Why fight so hard against me? Richard sighed. I was raised that way. Change scares me. The fallout was swift. Richard was suspended from the bar, assets frozen. Society shunned them, galas canceled, friends silent. Margaret filed for separation, unable to forgive the lies. You've broken us, she told Richard. Walker supported her, but internally wrestled. Had his push for truth gone too far? Jordan, hearing the news, reached out. This is huge. You okay? They met in a quiet cafe, tension palpable. I pushed you away, Walker admitted. Jordan nodded. Yeah, you did. But I get it. Family's complicated. Reconciliation tentative, they shared a hug, but Jordan set boundaries. No more hiding. Walker agreed, but societal eyes weighed heavy. Emily faced her own reckoning. Journalists hounded her. She lost her job. Was it worth it? Walker asked over coffee. To expose the rot? Yes. But regret tinged her voice. I hurt you first. Sibling bond mended slowly, united against the wreckage. Moral debates intensified. Walker attended therapy, unpacking internalized homophobia. You've paid a high price for authenticity, the counselor said. Indeed, career stalled, family fractured. But gains emerged. Self-acceptance, deeper connection with Jordan. A pivotal confrontation came at Richard's arraignment. In the courthouse hallway, father and son faced off. You've ruined my life, Richard said bitterly. Walker countered. Your choices did that. Mine just brought light. Richard's eyes softened briefly. Maybe I was wrong about you. But pride won, he walked away. Damage rippled outward. Jordan's art suffered from stress. He questioned their future. Is this what love costs? During an argument, he accused Walker of selfishness. You dragged me into your drama. Walker defended. I'm fighting for us. But words wounded, trust eroded. As investigations deepened, more secrets surfaced. Richard's affairs, hidden debts. Margaret confided in Walker. I stayed for the image. Now I'm free. Her awakening inspired him. Sacrifice for facade was futile. Emily, empowered, started an advocacy blog, channeling pain into purpose. Outing you was wrong, but it sparked change, she told Walker. He forgave, recognizing her actions as flawed but catalytic. High-stakes decisions loomed. Walker resigned from the firm, seeking ethical work. No more corruption, he vowed. Jordan proposed moving in together. A fresh start. Walker accepted, but fear lingered. Could they weather the storm? Betrayal's aftershocks hit when Richard attempted reconciliation, offering money to drop charges. For family, Walker refused. Integrity over blood. The rejection severed ties, a painful but necessary cut. Through it all, Walker's inner conflict raged. Right versus wrong blurred. Had exposure healed or harmed? As bonds reformed tentatively with Margaret and Emily, he pondered the cost of truth. With Richard's trial approaching, the Thompson household became a war zone of lawyers and arguments. Walker testified reluctantly, detailing the embezzlement evidence. On the stand, under cross-examination, he faced his father's pleading eyes. Did you expose this out of revenge? The defense asked. No, Walker replied steadily. Out of justice. The courtroom buzzed. Media dubbed it the fall of Boston's golden family. Outside, protesters mixed. Some for LGBT rights, others decrying family betrayal. Post-testimony, Walker collapsed in Jordan's arms at home. I feel like a traitor, Jordan soothed. You did the right thing, but doubt festered. Margaret, now living separately, called daily, her support wavering. Your father's broken. Was this necessary? Walker defended his choices, but her words echoed his guilt. Societal scrutiny peaked. Tabloids painted Walker as the vengeful gay son, twisting facts. Online trolls harassed. Jordan's social media flooded with hate. This is the price, Jordan said wearily. Their relationship strained. Nights of silence, arguments over priorities. You're obsessed with fixing your family, Jordan accused. Walker shot back. And you're pushing me away. A temporary breakup loomed, hearts aching. Emily stood by Walker, but her blog attracted backlash. Hypocrite, commenters called her. She confided fears. Did I destroy us for nothing? Walker reassured. We're rebuilding stronger. Together, they attended Pride events, finding community solace amid isolation. A moral tipping point arrived when Richard offered a plea deal, admitting guilt for reduced sentence. In prison visitation, he confronted Walker. You've won. Happy? Walker shook his head. No one's winning, but maybe we can heal. Richard scoffed, but tears betrayed him. I never understood you. The exchange sparked Walker's awakening. Forgiveness as strength, not weakness. Damage assessment. Finances depleted, reputation tarnished. Walker started a new job at a nonprofit for LGBT youth, channeling pain into purpose. Your story inspires, a mentee said. Validation healed wounds. Jordan, after space, returned. I love you, mess and all. They recommitted, moving to a modest apartment. But sacrifices lingered, lost luxuries, strained friendships. As trial concluded, Richard sentenced to 5 years. Margaret visited him, hinting at reconciliation. People change. Walker pondered. Could his father? Inner peace eluded. Nights brought reflection. Choices ripple effects. Had he prioritized self over family? Or justice over comfort? Emily's evolution shone. She apologized fully. My betrayal started this, but your courage ended it. Sibling alliance solidified. High drama culminated in a family gathering sans Richard. Margaret hosted, tentative. Toasts to new beginnings, but undercurrents of loss. Walker raised a glass. To truth, whatever the cost. Yet, awakening dawned. Walker realized authenticity's value outweighed conformity's cage. With Jordan, he planned a future marriage, perhaps adoption, defying odds. But the price, emotional scars, fractured bonds. Was it worth it? Post-trial, the Thompsons scattered like leaves in autumn wind. Richard adapted to prison life, writing letters of regret. I see now the harm I caused. One read. Walker visited sporadically, conversations evolving from accusation to understanding. I hid my flaws. You hid your truth, Richard admitted. Forgiveness budded, slow and thorny. Margaret thrived independently, joining support groups for parents of LGBT kids. I was blind, she told Walker over lunch. Her acceptance warmed him, mending maternal bonds. Emily flourished too, her blog turning into a podcast, advocating for family reconciliation amid coming-out stories. We paid dearly, but gained clarity, she reflected. Walker and Jordan built their life, hosting dinners with new friends, a chosen family free of judgment. Career-wise, Walker's nonprofit role fulfilled him, counseling youth facing similar struggles. Your decisions define you, he advised, drawing from experience. Yet, societal echoes lingered. Occasional stares in public, whispers at events. Boston's elite hadn't forgotten, but Walker wore his identity proudly, no longer cowering. Inner awakenings deepened. Walker journaled, unpacking layers of trauma. Betrayal's sting, choices burden. Was outing forced growth? He pondered. Jordan encouraged therapy, where Walker confronted Mouthwan. Love versus loyalty, self versus society. A final confrontation sealed healing. Richard, paroled early for good behavior, requested a meeting. At a neutral cafe, emotions surged. I'm sorry for rejecting you, Richard said. Walker nodded. And for the secrets? Richard sighed. I own them. No full absolution, but progress. Family reunited cautiously for holidays. Laughter mixed with awkwardness, but hope prevailed. Emily announced her engagement to a supportive partner, symbolizing renewal. Walker proposed to Jordan on their anniversary, under Charles River stars. Through hell, you're my constant. Jordan accepted, tears flowing. Their wedding, small and intimate, celebrated love's triumph. But reflections on costs endured. Lost years in hiding, fractured trust, financial ruin. Walker wondered, did the ends justify the means? As life stabilized, Walker authored an anonymous memoir, sparking debates on family dynamics and LGBT rights. Readers argued ethics of exposure. In quiet moments, Walker asked himself, was destroying the old to build the new the right path? And so, The question remains, in the pursuit of personal truth, is it morally justifiable to dismantle a family's illusions, even if it leads to their collective awakening?